Today I'm going to show you how to make the best healthy fall dessert, and your main ingredient is these. First things first, preheat your oven to 350 degrees and get out a knife. Don't forget that cutting board. And a pan with parchment, salt, sugar, I use coconut sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and a little lemon juice. And one more thing, you're gonna need coconut oil or any type of oil. Coconut oil though adds a great little flavor to it. That's all you need. Let's get to chopping these apples. You can use any type of apples that you like. I'm actually gonna do a mix of some Granny Smith apples and Red Delicious. All you wanna do is cube these up into bigger bite-sized chunks and throw them on your parchment paper. This is a great way to use up apples that are starting to go bad. After chopping your apples, you want to heat up a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. I just did it in the microwave. Pour it all over and coat all of the apples in the coconut oil so all the seasonings stick to it. Add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon next, then 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and on top of that, put 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, mix it all around, and then after you mix it, you're gonna add 1 tablespoon of coconut sugar. This is plenty to coat them, and it's actually optional, but it's really good for flavor. This is a great fall dessert, especially if you're having company over at this time of year, because you can prep it all, put it in the oven, and then it bakes for an hour while you eat dinner. By the time you're done with dinner, you have a delicious, cozy, warm dessert. Don't forget to top with whipped cream. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. We're gonna stir it a little bit. We're gonna do for another 10 minutes. Okay, I think it's been about 1 hour. I had to go get the kids. Brandon's been checking it. They look yummy?
Yeah.
Should we take them out?
Yeah.
All right, let's dish it up. Oh, so yummy. If you need a holiday dessert to bring to Thanksgiving, I'm telling you right now, this is what I'm making for Thanksgiving because it's so delicious. It looks maybe like it's burned, but oh, that crystals from the coconut sugar get caramelized and so good. Check out the video I'm gonna link below on how to make our homemade whipped cream.
Creamy, 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 creamy.
Okay, tell me how it is. It's good?
Good. Yeah.
Ooh, it's like apple pie, but I like without all the crust and stuff. But like, whoa. And some more there, right?
I had less than you.
Listen, a whole tray for 4 people does not go far. So make sure you cut a lot of apples. Whoa, that's a big bite.
No.
What do you think, Brio? Good? What do you think? Yummy, huh? If you try it, comment down below. Today I'm going to show you how to make sourdough. If you follow these instructions exactly, you will get the best sourdough ever. Here's the ingredients you need. All-purpose flour, salt,
And water.
filtered water. We use our Berkey. A big bowl. And of course, your sourdough starter. You do not need this much. I'll show you how much. I fed that last night. It's all ready to go. If you don't have a sourdough starter, I will link some resources in the description box on how I made my own from just water and flour. And you will need a kitchen scale. And to cook them in, you will need 2 Dutch ovens. I have one bigger, one smaller. And for the day you bake it, you will need parchment paper to put in your Dutch ovens and 2 baking trays, baking sheets to put under your Dutch ovens. And of course, cold brew. Just kidding, you don't really need cold brew, but it's morning time, so I need my cold brew. I don't normally use a kitchen scale when I'm in the kitchen except for this sourdough recipe because when you do it exactly by the grams, it turns out perfect every time. First thing I'm gonna do is tear out my bowl on the kitchen scale so I can add in 950 grams of all-purpose flour. 951, good enough. And you're gonna need 700 grams of water. So same thing, I put this on my scale, made sure it said 0, and then I added water until it said 700 grams. It's about 3 cups, but do it by the grams because when you do it this way, exactly, it turns out perfect every time. We're gonna mix it together very lightly.
I mix it, Mommy.
Okay, here.
I want to feel it. It's so excited. It's gonna be squishy.
Gentle. Okay. Just touch it like this. Cover that and let it sit 30 minutes. Whenever I have 2 days off in a row, I like to make this and I actually freeze the second loaf, or I slice it up and freeze it to make sure that it lasts us for a couple weeks in our family. Time to add your sourdough starter to this, and then we will add the salt. I want 200 grams of sourdough starter, so I have it on my kitchen scale, and I'm going to pour in until it's roughly 200 grams. Okay, I've got roughly 200 grams, and now I'm gonna add my 15 to 20 grams of salt. So with your hand a little wet, you're gonna just dimple these together. Cover and let rest for 30 minutes. Again. For the next hour, you're gonna stretch and fold this every 15 minutes. So 4 times in 1 hour. Let me show you how. Go around, pull it up, fold it over. Pull it up, fold it over. This is because we're not kneading it. We're stretching and folding it over time and allowing the gluten to form that way. When it gets to be too hard to really do it, then that's when you know you let it rest for another 15 minutes. 1. After the hour and you've done the stretch and fold for about 4 times, you're gonna let it sit covered for the rest of the day. This is what it's gonna look like, and you're going to see at the end of the day, it's going to rise a lot. Ba-bam! It is humongous now. I mean, look at how much this thing grew. It's now been about 9 hours. 11 a.m. is about when I finished the first process, and it's 8 o'clock now. So the next step for this is to dump this onto a floured surface. So I've cleaned off the counter here, and we're gonna divide it into 2 loaves. Since my 2 Dutch ovens are not the same size, I'm gonna do one a little bit smaller than the other with my handy dandy little scraper. Put this one off to the side. This one, you're basically gonna fold over the 4 corners like so. Flip it over and kind of scoot it to form a little ball. But you want to keep those bubbles, so you don't want to like mash it down or anything like that. One corner, the other, one, this, and then flip it. Kind of drag it on the, to make a little ball. See, and you can see the little bubbles, all those little air pockets, and you want to preserve those. You don't want to mash it down. So let this sit on the counter. I'm gonna cover it 30 minutes. This is gonna give it a little bit of a crust before the next step. Now that it's been 30 minutes, I'm going to put these in a bowl lined with a tea towel and put them in the fridge overnight. I'm just gonna sprinkle some flour into the bowl as well. You can use like rice flour and stuff, I think people say. You're gonna put the top side on the bottom side. So you're gonna flip it over when you pick it up. This is where the scraper comes in handy because you can just slide it under, flip it over. So the bottom side is going to be up. Cover, put it in the fridge. Pick up the second one, flip it over. Top side down, bottom side's up, cover and put in the fridge. Overnight. In the morning, you want to preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. And then put your Dutch ovens inside the oven to preheat with the oven. Now that it's morning time, it's been over 12 hours, I'm gonna get some parchment paper here and then bring out my bowls from the fridge. One, two, three, plop! Plop! Okay, you're gonna plop them onto the parchment paper. 1, 2, 3, plop! Literally. Now you're supposed to score the top, so like do lines in it with a razor blade. I haven't gotten a razor blade, so you can definitely just use a knife and make whatever pattern. So I'm just gonna do a pretty simple one with this knife.
What are you doing?
And my oven is still preheating.
You're doing that?
Doing a little pattern. This is so that the steam can escape while it's cooking.
You're doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Doing a circle?
Yeah.
Why?
I am not the artist here, but it will do. Okay.
Good.
Oven's preheated to 475, so I'm gonna take out one of the Dutch ovens and put it here, put this inside. Very hot Dutch oven. Sourdough inside, and I like to just trim the edges so they don't burn in the oven. I'm gonna put it back in the oven. Bake this in your preheated oven at 475 with these being preheated for 25 minutes. Next, we're going to put cookie sheets underneath of the Dutch ovens and take the lid off for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Ooh, look how much that went up. See that? Woo! Okay, come look before I put the back on. Mm-hmm. You got sunglasses on to see it? All right, I'm just gonna test this to see what the internal temp is. Ooh, look at those. I want it to be around 205, 203. Maybe I'll do 2 more minutes in here. Okay, so it's probably gonna end up being 18 minutes after you put the trays under and take the tops off. Test the temp again. Get this out. Bring it over here. Super hot, guys. Here is your beautiful sourdough loaf. This recipe makes 2, obviously, and they're so delicious. You've got that crispy hard crust, but you've got very bubbly and like airy on the inside, super soft. Really is the best recipe. And if you follow these instructions exactly, it will make loaves just like this. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Today I'm going to show you how to make the easiest sandwich bread ever. If you want to save money, you need to be making your own bread products. Not to mention they're a lot healthier and cleaner. It's got common ingredients, you probably have most of them in your house. Let's get started. First thing you're going to need is all-purpose flour. Next we're going to sweeten it with honey. Also need some salt, the flavor of life, some active dry yeast, water, and we're going to use olive oil. Not extra virgin olive oil, just plain olive oil. Some optional ingredients, eggs, just 1, but I'm actually doubling the recipe. And you will need a loaf pan. I'm gonna use my KitchenAid stand mixer for this. You can definitely knead it by hand if you want. Just might take a little more elbow grease. but completely doable. Eggs actually add color, flavor, strength, and leavening to baked bread, which is why I'm choosing to add an egg to my loaf of bread. Typically, we try to grind our own grains in order to make bread, but I'm gonna show you an easy way with all-purpose flour so that anyone can do it to save money. First thing I'm gonna do is heat up this water a little bit so that I can have my active dry yeast bloom or kind of foam up. And I'm gonna add the honey to that so that it can activate the yeast. To my bowl goes my water. Now I am doubling this recipe, so you will need 1 cup of water. I have 2. 2 tablespoons of yeast. I'm going to add 4 because I'm making 2. And 2 tablespoons of honey, so I will do 4. And we're just gonna eyeball it. Because who doesn't want more honey anyways? I'm gonna mix this around and let this yeast sit for about 5 minutes. Gluten is the stretchy substance that forms when flour is mixed with water. Gluten develops during the kneading and forms the structure of yeast breads. This enables it to rise and stay risen during handling and baking. Okay, now that that's looking puffy, I'm gonna add the rest of my ingredients and then put it on my KitchenAid stand mixer. You're gonna need 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm doubling it, so I'm just gonna do about 1.5. 1/4 cup of olive oil, but I'm gonna do 1/2 cup. Cause listen, if I'm making it once, I might as well make 2, right? Batch cook, people. I'm gonna add 1 egg, but then I'm actually gonna add another one. Now I'm gonna add 3.5 cups of flour, but since I'm doubling it, I'm going to do 7. And these are pretty rough measurements. 6, and I'll add the other one as it's kneading. Let me bring you over here. Okay, I've got my dough hook here. You can also add 2 tablespoons or so to a double batch of Italian seasoning. If you want to do Italian, you could add some cinnamon and sugar. Like, it's very basic. Start with it and experiment. Whoa! Okay, don't do that. Oh my goodness, it's a mess. Okay, should have added that all at one time. So don't do what I just did. Let me try to mix this together. Okay, so let's take this out of here, and I'm going to divide it into 2 loaves so I can let it rise in 2 pans for an hour. Okay, here's my dough. Oh, I'm gonna take it out. I like to kind of just knead it together a little bit by hand. I don't know, I just love the feel of doing this with dough. Brings you back to your roots, you know. And it just smells so good. All the yeast and flour. And then get excited because you're going to have fresh made bread. And it's going to be so good. You're not even going to be able to resist putting butter on it while it's still hot. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so here's my bread. Get your anger out. Okay, so I'm going to divide it into 2 parts here. Try to form it into like a loaf that's going to fit into my pan. So here's one. Try to stretch it. Okay, this is gonna rise for 1 hour. And you're gonna see how big it's gonna get. It's gonna be magic. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bam! Look at that. They've doubled in size. So I don't want them to rise too much because I've heard that's not good. Like, this is perfect. They feel so nice and squishy. Like, There's my oven preheated. So I'm gonna put these in at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. Okay, my timer is about to go off. I'm gonna check to see if the internal temperature is 190 degrees. Ooh, look at that. 96, so we're good. Okay, I'm letting it cool just a couple minutes before I put it on my wire racks for it to cool completely. And I'm gonna put them on their side. For whatever reason, they say that's better. Okay, time to cut it. Oh, that looks beautiful. Okay, how spongy that is. Okay, let's cut another piece. It's bread. This will save you lots of money. If you like saving money, make sure you're subscribed. Do you love yogurt? Yogurt. I'm Brigitte, this is Brielle, and this is Benjamin, and we're gonna make an easy Instant Pot yogurt. Super simple, the whole family can do it. It's only 3 ingredients if you wanna make it sweetened, so let's get into it. This is my first time making yogurt in the Instant Pot, so I'm just gonna walk you through it as I do it. I'll link the original video that I'm kind of following the recipe for down below. I am all about simple and easy and frugal, and so since this will make a ½ gallon at a time, because we're gonna use this milk, it's definitely a cheaper alternative to making yogurt. And to make it sweet, we're gonna use this sweetened condensed milk from Costco. Okay, so what ingredients are you gonna need? We've got a ½ gallon of organic whole milk, and this is the ultra pasteurized, which is the kind that apparently you need. We've got some regular Greek yogurt here. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons of this. And a can of sweetened condensed milk. And we're gonna need a tablespoon and a whisk and a can opener. So we have the Instant Pot Duo Evo Plus, and we're going to use the base, but we're not gonna use the lid. We're actually just gonna use this pot lid that I have for another pot, but it's gonna fit perfectly on here. And if you don't have something that perfectly fits your Instant Pot, then you can just use a plate or something to cover it. Because the Instant Pot is not coming up to pressure or anything, it's just keeping it at a low temperature for about 8 hours. The first thing the recipe calls to do is to add 2 tablespoons of your yogurt starter. So we're just gonna use a regular yogurt, Greek yogurt, to the Instant Pot liner. Dump it in, tap it, tap, tap, tap. Ooh, okay, tap, tap, tap. And we're gonna pour about a ½ cup into here, so ready? Now we're gonna whisk it together.
Okay.
You do that?
And get all that yogurt out.
Benjamin watched the video with me on how to make this. I think it's great when you try to get your kids involved in helping you make meals and cooking stuff, because then they learn how, for one, and it helps them to eat things they might not have tried before. The recipe says to make sure it gets all incorporated completely so that there's no clumps, and that when you pour the rest of the milk in, it gets all incorporated. Creamy and foamy. Now we're gonna open the sweetened condensed milk pan. Okay, squeeze. You want to help? Okay, in a minute. You just helped. Now we're going to slowly pour in the rest of the ½ gallon of the milk.
All of it?
All of it. Okay, careful. Good. Benjamin. Oh, this is looking so good. Look at that.
Burping.
Yeah.
Hello.
You want it all foamy and yummy looking.
Ooh, so foamy.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to the store.
Okay. Okay, now that we've incorporated all the ingredients, we're going to put it in the Instant Pot.
I'll go play.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna go play? Okay. Oh.
I'll play.
Okay, now I'm gonna put the lid on. And on my Instant Pot Duo Evo Plus, I'm just gonna hit the yogurt button. And mine has 3 settings that has custom, pasteurize, and ferment. When I hit the pasteurize button, it says 3 minutes, so I don't think that's the one I wanna use, but when I hit the ferment button, it comes up with an automatic 8 hours, and that is what I want. 19?
Okay.
And I'm just gonna hit start. So I'm just gonna watch it go through the bars and see. I will check back in and let you guys know. And when it's all done, before I put it in the refrigerator to cool, it says either 4 hours or overnight on the video that I watched on how to make this, then I will check back in with you guys before I get to that point. Thus far, super simple. Definitely would have taken me less time without the kids, but basically all you do is combine the ingredients and throw it in the Instant Pot and push the buttons. I'm all about easy recipes, so I love that.
Hey guys, Brandon jumping in here to let you know that it is time to select the winner of our 5K giveaway. You might remember that we decided to celebrate 5,000 subscribers on Our Family B. We're going to give away an espresso with the Arancino milk frother. And we told you just type in hashtag #OurFamilyB along with the kind of content you wanted to see more of. And we would get you an espresso machine. We're going to randomly select somebody right now who meets that criteria. Who is it? And AJ Davis. Congratulations, AJ. Shoot us an email at contact.ourfamilyb@gmail.com and we'll let you know how to get your Nespresso.
Okay, it is much later in the day and we are gonna check on the yogurt. It has been 7.5 hours and I think I'm gonna take it out now to cool in the fridge. So let's see what it looks like. All right, so it is a little watery top, but it seems very smooth and firm. I don't want to stick my spoon in it yet because I want to put it in the fridge to cool. Smelling it, smells like yogurt. So let me put it in the fridge and then I will check back with you guys. Okay, I'm just going to put this whole thing in the fridge. It's warm, but you can definitely handle it and touch it. Going in. See you in a bit.
The next day.
How does it look? How does it smell? Does it smell good? Does it smell like yogurt?
It smells so good.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, little scoop. Whoa. All right, do a taste test. Let me see. Is that good?
Good.
What do you think?
I got you.
You like it?
Oh, tastes like cotton candy. Cotton candy.
Like
more? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'm gonna get a big bite.
Okay, get a big bite. Hi, is that so good?
We should have some for lunches.
Yes, we could.
I'm gonna taste it now.
Yummy.
Pretty good. Also, but it's really good.
I told you.
It's actually really good.
So, let me see.
Good job.
3 gallon for
Really quite
I think
good.
one,
Not gonna
so
lie.
it'd be 5 cents
Oh, wolves.
of the.
I'm gonna go eat the other quart, but it's so yummy. Really good. When you made it years ago in the oven in little mason jars, remember? It was not this good.
No, it wasn't. And this
not
is
this
way
good.
simpler.
So much easier. Wow.
Okay, I think it's safe to say that it's a hit. So it's really not overly sweet. It's just sweet enough. And you can see it got thick and creamy. This was great. I could have added even a little vanilla extract, but it's fantastic. I mean, the sweetened condensed milk, yes, it has sugar, but I mean, this was a whole half gallon of milk to, 1 can of the sweetened condensed milk. And it really was, it's excellent. It's very excellent. And definitely you can eat this with fruit, with some granola. I mean, it tastes like vanilla already.
So good. And it's And it kind of tastes like cotton candy mixed with vanilla.
It really does, and I didn't even add any flavoring, so definitely worth trying if you've got an Instant Pot, right? All right, let's save room for dinner.
Homemade yogurt is the best than other store yogurts because it's so good because you make it and you can add what you want, but you have to follow the ingredients.
Yes, that's true, and I didn't even tell him to say that.
Thanks for watching.
If you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It's actually one of the best ways to support our channel.
This is not gonna be keto. At all.
But it's gonna be good.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Brigitte.
And today we're gonna be making fettuccine alfredo because we are in quarantine and we want some comfort food and it's really good and we're gonna put a little bit of an OFB twist on it. It's gonna be close to the classic, but thick and creamy and babies will cry. It'll be awesome.
Let's go.
So fettuccine alfredo, basically fettuccine. It's just a wide noodle and alfredo sauce. Alfredo sauce at its core, I've heard two different legends. Like there's the one legend, it's just the pasta water plus the Parmesan cheese and some garlic. Okay, cool, very rustic and sweet, whatever. The classic alfredo sauce I'm aware of is just cream, garlic, butter, and Parmigiano Reggiano. Now you can make it with any Parmesan-like cheese, but they're not really Parmesan unless they're Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm not trying to be cheese bougie, but this is a little different. You see, dig in there real close. It's got those little crystals in it. It comes from the Parmesan region, or the region where they make the Parmesan. That's what Reggiano means. This is the actual stuff. It's pungent, it's yummy. You can save this rind for like ever and put it in other sauces to impart a little more flavor. This is what you wanna have. We're gonna cheat a little bit because I'm adding some Romano. It's a little saltier, a little more pungent in that way, so I'm gonna add that in there. Pecorino Romano, because it's great. And we're gonna use some garlic butter we made a while back and froze in these little silicone mold things. That's why it came out looking like this. Along with some actual garlic cloves we've got. And you wanna use cream, at least a cup if you're making enough sauce for the whole family. I've got a cup and a half here of heavy whipping cream. And just to add a little more thickness, I'm gonna put in some mozzarella cheese, pre-shredded, because again, we're cheating a bit today, but it's gonna be good. Now, another alternative to this, it's actually easier, but I got the mozzarella, so I'm gonna use it up, is cream cheese. You can use half a block of cream cheese, and it's gonna make a very thick sauce, but you wanna watch it very carefully. Baby's crying, see, I told you it was gonna happen. We are also gonna have some chicken. We usually aren't chicken breast people because we found that the dark meat is not less healthy, only has a little more fat, which whatever, we don't care. And it's got way more nutrients in it, so we usually eat that, but pre-cooked chicken breast for ease people. Ease is necessary sometimes. I'm gonna jazz it up a little bit. We'll show you how I do that. And we're gonna have some broccoli that Brigitte lightly steamed in a gourmet fashion in this excellent microwavable bag.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dramatic music, see? It'll be great. Let's go. So I've already got this garlic butter, and I've got other butter, and I've got garlic because it's really hard to have too much garlic, people. So I just like to cut off the ends of these guys, thusly, and then chop them up finally thereafter. Get that to the side. And I need to grate a whole bunch of fromage. For anything more than about a cup of cream, when you're making the sauce, you want to have at least a cup of Parmesan. I'm going to make a little more than that, plus some Romano.
This is the most tedious part.
Add some Romano to it. I love how everybody's trying to use health labels on their foods. Like, note, this Romano cheese now says naturally low in carbohydrates. Yeah, and water is gluten-free. This is cheese A, this is cheese B. And you're gonna try one and then the other, and which one do you like better, okay? You wanna try this one or this one first? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, chew it up.
I like it.
You like it? It's good? Okay. Now have a drink of water. Did you swallow yet? Tell me when you swallow. After you have a drink of water, after you swallow, now have a drink of water, okay? Swish it a little bit. Okay? And now try the other cheese.
I like both of them.
Great. Which one do you think you like more?
The other one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's more better.
In what way is it more better?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
Parmesan cheese.
The first one or the second one?
The first one tastes like Parmesan cheese.
Okay. Benjamin, the second one was Parmesan cheese.
You know what the first one was?
No.
Romano,
Flavor Romano.
Yeah.
you gonna try some more Parmesan?
No. Oh, Parmesan, yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Water in pot. You need that for pasta. I just turned this water on high to get boiling soon, and you've heard salt your pasta water. Let me clarify. Get close in on here. People, salt your pasta water.
Oh my gosh. That has a ton of salt.
That pasta isn't gonna get flavor into it once it's cooked. Pasta is filled mostly with water. Your sauce is probably oily. Oil and water do not mix, so you're not gonna get flavoring from your sauce into your pasta. What you can do is get a saltiness into your pasta while it's cooking. That's why when they say salt your pasta water, it's not about keeping the noodles from sticking, it's about flavoring your pasta. If you want your pasta to be good and not just your sauce, salt your pasta water like a boss. You can use a pot to make your sauce like most people do, but you can also just use a really big skillet. The benefit here is you're able to mix the surface area a lot better, more evenly distribute the heat. It's actually a better way to cook it. So I'm gonna dump my garlic butter in there. I'm gonna dump my garlic in there. I'm gonna drop this piece that doesn't belong in there anyway. And then I'm gonna get the rest of the butter. I'm gonna set this pan with the butter and the garlic to medium heat, and just get the butter melting, and the garlic should start popping in just a little bit, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna take a healthy scoop of this here Better Than bouillon. This is the chicken with a roasted chicken base. It's basically like a bouillon goo. I'm gonna put that in there. And I could wait for the pan to heat it up, but I'm just gonna throw this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And that'll help loosen it up a little bit.
From Costco?
From Costco, the big things. You can get them from most other stores, but they're very pricey. Put some more butter in here. Need a lot of butter for this sauce, people. Yeah, a little butter. Yeah, more butter. I'm just guessing at it. I think you want to use a little over half a stick if you're using a cup of cream. Guess based on that. Hot sauce. All right, so I'm gonna dump this bouillon and water mixture into this pan that is already on high heat. And I'm gonna grab this wooden spoon and just give it a good stir. Just wanna distribute the flavor of this all throughout. Go ahead and toss this chicken in there. Stir it around a little bit. This is starting to sizzle a little bit. So I'm going to drop in my cream and let that start to heat up. Over here with the chicken, just a little extra salt. Crack some black pepper. Pop a little oregano over there. Keep this stirred. Make sure your cream is not burning. It shouldn't because the heat's not too high, but you want to keep everything moving for a couple minutes until the cream can get hot enough to melt all the cheese. Water is starting to boil. Break open your pasta. Drop it into the pot and then hold for a second. Don't break the pasta. Instead, try to let it soften and bend it. bend that pasta around the inside of your pot. You know, it never fits. This way you get it all in there. Just continue to bend it around. I hate to admit it, but that's some Gordon Ramsay wisdom right there, people. Gordon Ramsay, good job, bud.
Yum.
Turn that down, let it simmer, and cover. I don't know about topping pasta. I know two things right now. I know crying baby, that, and I know that pasta should be al dente. It shouldn't be mushy, it shouldn't be too hard, it should just have a little bite to it. When you crunch into it, not crunch, when you bite it, it should be toothsome is the word I think. So al dente, and the way to do that is to test it. Watch it. Is it softer? Test it. Is it right? No? Don't take it out yet. Get it just al dente before you remove it from the water. This cream is starting to bubble. Nope. Let's get our cheese in there. It's all in there. Make sure it gets well distributed. But you want to stir it pretty regularly. I like to have a fair amount of cracked pepper in there. You just want to make sure that the cheese is not sticking to the bottom. This is why I'm using a silicone spatula, because I can get around every square inch of the bottom of that pan. Look how as we go around, you can see it slowly fills back in. It's starting to thicken. Now watch what I'll do. I'll go around the edge of the pan, just a little bit of a technique here, around the edge of the pan, and then I'll kind of go in lines across the bottom of the pan. And I'm just keeping anything from sticking. You can see it's already trying to do that a little bit. Move it a little bit, and I'm gonna throw just a little bit of that mozzarella in here, just at the last second. And honestly, we barely even need it, but it will add just a little more thickness to the sauce. And I'm gonna go ahead and kill the heat on that. It's got enough heat to melt the mozzarella on its own. Everything is already well incorporated. Come here, bud. A little tough, a little gummy, not ready yet. You want daddy or mommy? Daddy? I love you. Oh, pasta's boiling over.
Got her. What distraction?
We haven't had to use a colander for a while. We're gonna link this down below where you can get one too. But this pot has this lid built in with these holes and this pour spout. So you just hold the lid on with the pot holders and do that. It's wonderful. Get you one. And because it's really good sauce, more sauce. And I would recommend a little bit more cracked pepper.
You can definitely taste the real stuff. Like, tastes like a restaurant, like an Italian restaurant. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Today we're making some 100% freshly ground einkorn bread. I'm gonna be using my new Nutrimill to grind the wheat berries, and then we're just gonna get right to it. This is my second time making bread with freshly ground flour. I will be in the future doing like a mix of different flours to make bread and experimenting a little bit, but right now we're just gonna do 100% einkorn berries, so I know it's not gonna act like normal bread would that has a lot of gluten and everything like that. So we're just gonna try it out. Come along with me. I got this book off of Amazon at the recommendation of Our Tribe of Many, from like Sarah from Our Tribe of Many, and it was very informative. So I've been reading through it, and I got some einkorn berries from Jovial online, and I have some other types of grains coming from Azure, which is going to be picked up this week. So make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss when I do that haul, and then all the future videos on making different types of bread. So let me show you my counter, and I have a couple of things out, and we're just going to get started making some bread. I've got my recipe right here. I've got some of these ingredients. So let me start with the yeast and get that sitting in my bowl. And then we will grind the wheat berries while we're waiting for that to kind of proof and everything like that. Because I'm using active dry yeast that I got from Azure. And I've got my 1.5 cups of water. I can put the recipe, if it turns out good, in the description box, but let me heat this up in the microwave for a little bit. I want it to be warm, not totally hot, but enough to kind of activate this yeast, which I have been keeping in the freezer in this old banana peppers jar. Okay, I've got my 1.5 cups of warm water that I'm gonna put in there. I need 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. This is 1. And we'll do a 1/2 of yeast, and then 2 tablespoons of honey. Ooh, I just broke that. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. 1, 2. It says let it sit for 5 minutes. So that is what we're gonna do. And hopefully it will bubble up. Okay, this is going right under you. All right, let us turn to the Nutrimilk. Dun, 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 dun. Turn you around here. This is the Nutrimilk. I'm gonna put it back together because I kind of took it apart to do my first little test run, and we did not have it pushed in all the way, so I will make sure to show you that because it went everywhere. And then we YouTubed some videos and it, I'll show you, but you have to push it in until you can see the yes on the bottom. So big mistake on our part. Okay, so here's the top, and this part comes off here. So that if you want to add more, it doesn't like spill out. So you just pop it back in like so. And when you get it in the mail, it comes in here. So you just have to take it out. So this is the bottom where everything collects. And this is the top that just slides right on. It's got a little air filter here that you just like clean out after every use. And then this thing collects all of the super fine grain that comes out. So it just pops right on like that. So we're just gonna put this on, and then it's a little bit like, there we go. It sticks a little bit. Then you just slide it in like so with these little, slide it in here. I'll put it in filter side first. And then right down here, there's a little line and it says no. And you have to pop it in until you can see the yes sign. That was our big mistake when we first did this. So in the directions, it tells you where to put these knobs and everything. But basically, the bread flour, we're gonna do not straight up, but kind of a little bit to the right. And then when this is all the way to the left, it's off. And then as you turn it on, it opens up the space. So bigger things, I think, go like bigger grains and stuff on this side. So we're just going to be turning it to about right here. So let me get some of my berries. I'm going to need 2 1/4 cup ground. So I think it's 2 1/4 cup, and then I just need to grind it. So 2 1/4 cup of the wheat berries should make a little more than like 3.5 cups or something like that. Okay, so 1, 2, and then 1/4. Okay, these are so cool. Like wheat. This is what wheat looks like. Isn't that crazy? Crazy, crazy. I've got it in my little 3 pound or 3 whatever, my gamma lid on. Okay, we're just gonna grind it up, guys. Please ignore my dirty sink over there because real life. All right, it's gonna be super loud. So here we go. On, in. Okay, it's wound down, and at the end, the cover is important because some of the little berries, as it gets close to like finishing everything, it kind of pop up, so you don't want those to obviously hit you in the eye. So I put the cover on at the end there just to make sure everything stays in there, but everything went through, and it is now completely empty. Let me show you. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, so we're just gonna pop this out. Slide this open and lift it up. Wow, look at that. So I'm going to try to tap some of this out here. Ooh, ooh. So it's very fine up here. I'm going to try to get some of this in here. Ah! Can definitely be messy. And then this you can pop off, and there's some super fine stuff in there, if you can see it, but you can just dump it back in here or brush it off in there because it usually sticks to the side here, and you just gotta try to get it off. Super cool. Let me show you here. Can you see? It's a little bit warm from all the heat of the grinding and stuff. But this is our einkorn. So this has all of the natural oils, the germ, like all the parts of the seed that you want that make it actual whole grain, not like the stuff you buy in stores that says it's whole grain. This actually will give you every nutritious part of the wheat berry. All right, this is probably about like more than 3 cups. I'll measure it so that you guys can know. So in this book, it talks all about the whole grain anatomy. So all the different parts of the seed, and every part has its own benefits. And so when you buy stuff at the store, a lot of times they sift out certain parts to make it last longer so it doesn't spoil, because once you grind the seed, it starts to go bad, and then you can't ship it, you can't like distribute it. And so it's so good. I definitely highly recommend this book, even if you're just looking to learn about like the history of grain and everything like that, because it's just so informative. Like definitely I would consider this like a health book. It's so good. So let's measure this out. Look, you can see our yeast here has bubbled a little bit. So what I need to do is add this and this to this, and then 1 teaspoon of salt. Let me see how much this makes roughly here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 1/4. Now, the thing with einkorn is it doesn't get gluten-y and like stretchy and stuff like you would expect with bread with all-purpose flour, but that's okay. We want all of the nutrition in here, and like I said, I'm going to be experimenting with adding different other types of freshly milled types of berries and flours to kind of experiment and make our own bread that we really like. So we're looking at tons of recipes and trying some things. So this is my first try with this recipe, and I'm gonna put it in my stand mixer here, and I'm gonna use the dough hook, even though it's actually gonna make more of like a batter consistency, like a muffin batter, not really like a stretchy bread flour that you would need, but that's fine. So I'm gonna add it. I probably could use the paddle attachment, but I'm gonna just use the dough hook because that's what I used yesterday or 2 days ago whenever I did our very first trial run with doing an einkorn, like 100% einkorn bread recipe. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let me pop this in here. By the way, if you were around when I first got this, which was only a couple months ago, I am loving it. So I would definitely recommend getting it if you don't have one. It's an investment. We got it at Costco though, and it was like the cheapest that you can find it anywhere, and makes life so much easier. Put this up and then turn it on. I'm gonna push down the sides. Since it's not going to get stretchy and it doesn't need all of the kneading that bread usually does, I'm just going to take it out, and now I need to let it sit for 30 to 45 minutes covered. So let's do that. With my magnolia, the good old days are still to come. All right, I'm back. It's been 35 minutes. Let us see what our dough looks like. Dough, batter, whatever you want to call it. So it's a little puffy, sticky, you know. So we're gonna move this into a greased loaf pan that I'm gonna grease with coconut oil. Show you here. All I do is open my little container, take like a tiny piece of paper towel. I mean, you could easily use reusable things as well. And I'm going to grease this whole thing really well so it slides right out. Also, at this time, you need to preheat your oven to 375. So yummy. Oh, let me turn this around. There we go. Okay, wet spatula. Should be able to smooth it more. And now this needs to rest for another 30 to 35 minutes to let it rise. Take a look here to see how much it fills it, because we're gonna hopefully see it rise to the top is what I'm thinking. Ooh, guys, it's puffed up a little bit. It looks nice. All right, don't let the heat out, Brigitte. Don't let the heat out. So we have 12 minutes left from our 30-minute timer. Okay, it's been 34 minutes. So by the time I get these on and take this out, it's gonna be 35 minutes for this bread. And I think it's done. So I'm gonna let it sit in here on this cooling rack for 15 minutes, and then we'll slice it open. So it looks good. Guess I'll let it sit. Set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, and that's starting now.
All right, it's been 15 minutes. I'm gonna dump this bad boy out and then just leave it to cool for, I don't know, a couple hours while I go do some other things. See what we got here. So I had it on a cooling rack, and I'm just gonna dump it on it. Oh, wow. And I read somewhere you're supposed to like leave it on its side. So I don't know if that's what I'm gonna do. But look, you guys, it looks pretty good and like spongy. It's better than the first batch that I did. Show you up close and personal here. Up close and personal. And I know it looks weird because it's on its side, but here, we'll turn it for you. Look at that. I mean, it looks like a loaf of bread. I mean, granted, it's not like poofy, you know, like normal, but it feels better than the other one. It's not as like crunchy, like crispy, you know, on the outside. It feels more spongy in general. Here's the back side. Turn this way. I mean, it's not burned. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, you guys. So when I cut it open, I will show you and I will tell you how it tastes. Okay, I'm back. And look at this, you guys. Smells pretty good. Let me get a cutting board and I'm gonna cut it for you so that you can see just how it looks in case you want to try this. Tres importante, the bread knife. All right, let's go here. Should I lower you down? Yeah, I'm gonna lower you down. Here we go, here we go. My garden harvest, guys. Green onions galore. Okay, here we go. Cut off the end here. I'm not very good at cutting freehand. Wow, look at that, you guys. So you can see, has a little give. It's very spongy. You can see the like bubbles, like the gluten, like the air pockets, basically all the way through. Let me just try it like no butter, no nothing. A little piece, I'm gonna tear it off. Oh wow. It's so different. Definitely better than the first bread recipe that I used. I think because it wasn't meant for like freshly ground and for einkorn. So it does make a difference. This is really good. Like you can actually, this one I can taste the nuttiness of the berry, like the fact that it's einkorn better. It's pretty good. Chewy and sweet. Very good. We got this recipe from a friend of ours who makes one of these every day. It's really good. I would definitely recommend it. I'm gonna write it down below. I don't know where she got it from, so feel free to use it. It's really good. I'm gonna see if I can get Brandon to try it and let you guys know too. Has a very distinct flavor. Hey, listen, if you want more bread recipes, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Or if you just want to help out my channel. It's pizza day. But today we're making keto pizza so that when your kids have the frozen pizza, like mine do, you can have something healthy. It's delicious, it's keto, it's pretty easy to make. So come along for the ride and I'll show you how to make it. You can make this when your kids have regular pizza, like my kids will have the frozen pizza because that's cheaper than buying pizza. But you know, when I want to be healthier and eat low carb, I make this pizza. I'm gonna make the pizza crust ahead of time right now because I'm off. And then we're gonna top it tonight together, so I'll show you that. So let's get into it. Okay, but before I start that, I'm gonna start my crock pot to make some creamy ranch chicken, shredded chicken, and I'm gonna add some of this riced cauliflower. It's frozen. I'm just gonna put it right on top, and that way when I mix it all together and make it shredded, it'll have vegetables in it, so it's like a win-win. So this meal is a keto crockpot meal, and it's super easy. I've talked about it before on my vlogs, and so I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna pretty much dump everything in and start it on high. So here you go. Ah, I forgot the most important part. Guys, this is the life changer. So I'm gonna take that back out, put this in, and then I'll wash it after I use it. Actually, let me just wash it right now. Okay, that's on high, so let's get to the pizza now. Okay, here's what you're gonna need. Some ground chicken, okay, that is like that. Not like shredded like you did it in the stand mixer or anything like that. You need to get the ground, some mozzarella cheese, and some Parmesan. Shredded Parmesan is better, you know, like more of the real kind, but all we have right now is this shaker Parmesan cheese, so we're gonna use it because I really want pizza tonight. For the sauces, we're gonna do two different types. Brandon usually does a non-tomato sauce because of stomach acid issues and stuff, so he'll do a cream sauce, which I'll show you tonight when we top them. But I'm gonna make a red sauce in our Vitamix, which is the best blender ever and totally worth it. I'm gonna link it down below in case you're interested, but I'm gonna use tomato sauce and diced tomatoes, mix it in here. Also, for health reasons, gonna add some cauliflower, probably also some frozen carrots, to add a little sweetness and some more vegetables and some seasonings and whatever else I can find, basically. Sometimes I add some greens from the freezer also, because then you can mix it all in and no one is any the wiser. Like, the kids will be like, oh, this is great. So if they have a piece, which we usually let them have a piece because we want them to also like healthy foods, not just like the processed pizza, but whenever they want to try stuff, we want to enable them to do that, because then it opens up their palates and, you know, it's just good for the kids. So I'm gonna try to defrost this in time and cook a tray of bacon so that we can use that as toppings too. We do not have pepperoni, sad face. So I'm gonna find out whatever else we have in the fridge. We've got cilantro, diced red onions, the bacon, some other random stuff, and that'll be good for toppings, and it's gonna be delicious. Okay, let me show you how I roll it out and mix it all together. And preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Look at these giant avocados. These are Florida avocados from my parents' tree in their backyard. They're huge. They're like massive. When we have a house and we have a yard, they have a tree for us to plant, and so that's very exciting because we want to do some fruit trees and things that grow well in Florida. So I really want to buy a house, but we want to be wise with our money, and right now it's just not wise for us. But anyways, that's a side note. Wow, we really need new pans, but these are the two biggest pans I have, so we're gonna do one on each. And key is parchment paper. You need parchment paper. So let's put the parchment paper on and then get a bowl to mix everything in. I have 1 pound of ground chicken, so that's going in the bowl, and then I'm gonna do a handful of mozzarella and probably about equal amount of the Parmesan cheese. Let's do it. And I'm gonna season it kind of Italian, so if I had a complete mix, I would just throw that in, but I have to mix my own, so I've got onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, oregano, and basil. Okay, mix it all together. Divide it into half, 2 different pieces, so I can put one on each pan. And I have an extra parchment paper because I'm going to put it on top and then smush it down to be as thin but as even as possible. I mean, I've tried to use like a rolling thing, but I don't know, my hands just work better because I can feel it. So you want to get it as thin as possible, but also like even, so that when you pick it up, obviously you don't have big holes in your pizza crust. So let's do that. Let me show you what the pizza looks like and how thin it is. I accidentally heated the oven to 425, so now I have the door open so that it can like let out heat to cool down to 400 so I can put these in. But basically we're gonna pre-cook these for like 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Because I just realized I couldn't read my own writing, and it's supposed to be in there for 20 minutes, not 10. Keep an eye on it. When it gets to be a little bit golden brown is when you want to take it out, because then you're going to put it back in when you top it with stuff, but I'm going to actually leave them out and then put them in the refrigerator for a few hours until it's dinner time tonight. And I've actually made them and then put them in the freezer and then taken them back out, and it worked out really well. I mean, the only thing is you have to keep them flat, so obviously, like if you don't have a lot of room or a place to like put them flat so they don't break, then it could be hard. But I mean, it worked well. It tasted fine and the texture was fine and it defrosted fine. So it's an option. Okay, I think it's ready. If if you make this, tag us on Instagram at OFB Social, because we love seeing how our videos impact you guys. Like, that's why we're here. We want to make a difference and we want to help you guys. Whether it's just making dinner, helping you in your marriage, helping you to budget better, that's what we want to do because we want to do it together. Remember, life is better together. Life is better together, for real. I need a drink. Guess what I'm gonna get? You know we're obsessed with all sparkling water. If you've watched us before, if you haven't watched us before, and you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell up to all so you don't miss when we post new videos, which is every Tuesday and Friday. But we love sparkling water, and it's better than soda, right? I mean, listen, we're responsible, we budget for it, and when we don't have the money, we don't buy it. But it's just so good. Also, these straws are linked in our Amazon shop, which I will link down in the description box. The sauce. I made a lot because I used the 2 cans, which, you know, it's not like we're going to use all of this, but I can freeze the extra and it'll be fine. So, taste test. That's pretty good. Definitely will be using that. And no one's going to know it has vegetables in it. Ah. Okay, now we're waiting for the chicken crust. I'm gonna put this in a jar for tonight. Trusty mason jars, which we use for everything. But if you have mason jars and you put stuff in it, you really need the funnel. This is also linked in our Amazon shop. Homemade tomato pizza sauce. No sugar, very healthy because it has vegetables and from scratch, but it was so easy. Literally, we just dumped everything in the Vitamix. So, try it. This is making me so hungry because it's lunchtime and I gotta find something to eat. Stop. Okay, 20 is the magic number. Here's what it looks like. You can see it's a little golden brown. You can see here how much it shrinks up as you cook it, which is fine, I mean, but just keep it in mind. That's how you want it to look. That's more how you want it to look, a little bit of golden brown. So I'm gonna let that cool, put it in the fridge for a few hours and then take it out before dinner. So I will show you when we top it. It might be a little crazy because then the kids will be home and it'll be, I mean, not as chaotic as if we had a really big family, but you know, with just 4 of us, it still gets pretty crazy. You know, we're trying to do it super quick because it's dinner time, bath time, book time, bedtime. So it's a rush against the clock, but we're gonna do that tonight, so see you in 3, 2, 1. All right, we are home. Brielle is with me. Benjamin and Brandon are fishing for a few minutes behind our house. And once the bacon tray is done, we're gonna put out all of the toppings and sauces and the chicken pizza crust, and we're gonna put stuff on it. Okay, we've got the tomato sauce I made. We've got this kale pesto. We've got this basil pesto, onions, cilantro, some ham, cheese, mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, and a whole tray of bacon that I took off. So let's assemble. Assemble. Put together. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is Brandon's pizza, which he topped with red onion, bacon, ham, cheese, multiple cheeses, and mine has cilantro and much of the same. Going in the preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You just need to do it long enough for everything to melt.
Whoa!
Got that on camera? Nice.
And just be careful that the parchment paper does not touch the heating elements if you broil it at the end. That's all that happened. It doesn't normally happen. Just be careful. Look at these finished beauties. Oh my gosh, I can't even wait for you to see how yummy it is when I eat it. Look, this slices like a normal pizza. You could use one of those pizza roller things. We just don't have one anymore because I decluttered it. But look, holds together just fine.
Holds together, that's my point here. Just like a crust if you get it good and crispy. Brielle, hi. Brielle, come here.
Moment of truth. That's good. The cilantro on here is really good, actually. Normally I just keep it simple with pepperoni and cheese and some spices, but the cilantro and the bacon,
How's it hold together?
it's good.
I hear that crunch.
Nice and crunchy, crispy. Listen, this is a win, okay? Win. Make it. Okay, I'm going to be making some sourdough waffles or pancakes in the morning. So I'm going to take my sourdough starter. I don't know why I have two now in my fridge. And I'm going to basically feed them and make extra to have a starter for the morning. Because basically I'm making the discard. I don't know, this is how I always do it. So once you have a sourdough starter, which I took this out of the fridge this morning so that I could feed it, and then I'll put it back in the fridge until the next weekend. Because I usually only make stuff on the weekends because of my work schedule and everything. Basically, I'm just gonna scoop out like half of what I have so I can feed what I have, and then I'll just keep the rest in the fridge. Oh, I think I have two because this one was mostly all-purpose, and this one I had mixed with like pastry flour, not realizing it was not the same as all-purpose flour. So I'm like getting this back to a mostly all-purpose flour. And eventually I'm gonna be making a sourdough einkorn bread starter. So this is the discard, and I'm just gonna add some more flour to it. And I don't do measurements, I just kind of do by how it feels and looks, and it has been working a lot better for me than when I did it by like grams of water and like amounts and all of that. So I'm just gonna pour some flour into here. To feed that, and just pour some into here. To feed that, I'm just gonna mix it around, and then I will fill it with some water from the Berkey. So that's that, but let me show you the consistency that you want it to be. So I'm gonna leave this out at room temperature probably until morning, and then I will put it in the fridge. But basically, this is what it looks like. So kind of like a thick batter. So that's that one. And the way you can see that it's like working is the side, it will double, which you can, it's right here. You can't really see it because of all that stuff here, but it's here and it'll double, and then you'll see bubbles and stuff all along the side. So let's do this one. I'm gonna mix what I've got around, and I really don't need a ton of water for these. Okay, so here's this one. It's like a thick batter. Depends on how warm it is in your house. I mean, we live in Florida, so Right now it's set to 72 for the night, which is cool. But the warmer it is, the faster it will like bubble up and ferment and be good. And then you can put it in the fridge. But it just depends. So by the time I go to bed, which is not gonna be long from now, I'll see where it's at. Otherwise, I'll just like lightly put the lid on like that, and I'll just leave it out on the counter. This, which I'm gonna just basically use whatever amount in here for my waffles. So I usually do a pretty good portion because I like to freeze some and then use some for the week. So I'm gonna put a good amount of flour in here and then add water to make it into a batter that I will then add some like eggs and oil and a couple things to it in the morning. Okay, so let's get this going. This is gonna double basically in size tonight, and it will get very bubbly and poofy. And then I will add some ingredients and I will show you that in the morning. This is how I start it. I just do it at night. It's like 8:15, and whenever I get up, which will probably be like, I don't know, depends on what time the kids get up, 6 o'clock maybe, 7 o'clock if they let me sleep. And then I will show you what I add to it. So they are over here chilling. And I got my water kefir grains rehydrating. So that's exciting. These are gonna double in size. Okay, and it's morning time now. So you can see what the sourdough starter looks like now. It's very bubbly and very stretchy when you can see all the little pockets in it. I'll show you here. And that is exactly what you want it to look like. So these are gonna be my starter that go back in the fridge. And then we'll take a look at what's in the bowl and what that looks like. But these turned out beautifully. Using all-purpose flour works great, and it's just so easy to do. Using sourdough instead of yeast is really great because it ferments and it gives you some good beneficial bacteria. So that's why I love doing this. And it's one of those things that it's really good to know how to do if you don't have yeast or you can't find it. I love getting my grains from Azure Standard, and I'll leave a link in the description box, and my coconut as well, which you'll see. This is the recipe that I always use. This is from farmhouseonboone.com. I can link it in the description box below. It's a very forgiving recipe, and sometimes I just use it as a base and I add extra things, which you'll see. But this is what the bowl looks like. It is amazing looking. Like, this is exactly what you want. So I'm gonna get a fork here, which is very handy to make sure that everything gets mixed in, like your eggs and the oil. You really want to incorporate everything into this dough. And with some stirring, it's very easy to do. So I've got a couple eggs here. Actually, I added an extra for some more protein. I'm gonna melt some coconut oil in the microwave. I throw in the salt, cinnamon, vanilla extract, pour in that, some honey. And you wanna do the baking soda last. That is the only, like, for sure thing that you need to pay attention to. The other ingredients you can just throw in as you find them in the kitchen. And I let that sit for a little bit. After I've added the baking soda, I kind of clean up around the kitchen and get everything else set so that it can start bubbling up and getting poofier. So I take a 1/4 cup little scoop. I have some chocolate chips here, white chocolate and dark chocolate or semi-sweet. And then I have some coconut shreds I'm also going to throw in. And I just butter the skillet, or you can use a pan on the stove. I've used both. And I just like this because I can do 6 at a time, and it just goes a lot faster because I usually do a double batch so I can freeze the rest. So I'm just kind of dividing it up and putting coconut on some. Sometimes I just do a little bit of everything. Sometimes I do sprinkles. Sometimes I just add extra flax, hemp hearts, like whatever you want. You can do fruit or raisins, you know, whatever strikes your fancy. So my kids, of course, love chocolate chips, and so that's what I do. So this is what they look like. They just brown up and get golden, like just, it's so good. So easy and wholesome and really fills bellies. So butter and repeat and store the extra in the freezer. I keep some in the fridge and we eat that up, and the rest goes in the freezer, and I just reheat them in the air fryer during the week. It's such an easy breakfast and full of whole grains.
This is my mama.
Hi, baby. Mwah.
Where were you born?
North Carolina.
Where?
Whiteville.
Whiteville? Yeah.
Not Whiteville.
Whiteville. What are we making, Mama?
We're gonna make
We have people watching us all over the world who, like, people
Hi,
who
Sarah.
are not in the South.
Uh-oh.
Okay, they've never had a Southern mama or grandma make them any sausage gravy.
So I can't
They've
say.
probably experienced sausage gravy at Cracker Barrel.
Oh no. Can't say don't eat it.
Or a diner out of it. You know the sausage gravy in a can?
You know, I had sausage gravy at a hotel restaurant.
How
one
was
time.
that?
It was some kind of brown
What?
gravy, and it had sausage links chopped up in
What
it.
is sausage gravy supposed to look
I
like?
had to pray about it.
What's it supposed to look
It's
like?
supposed to be crumbled, mild sausage with the nana mommy feeling cooked from the heart.
I think she
Crunch.
means butter.
Lots of butter. If you can't eat butter, don't even think about it.
What do we need to make it? Tell me what, you can look anywhere, tell me what you need to make it.
Mild sausage,
Okay?
no sage, just mild sausage.
Mild.
If you put sage in it,
Yeah.
I don't know where you're from.
I
I ain't from North Carolina. Anyway,
No, okay.
mild sausage, mucho butter.
Okay, a lot of butter.
Always have extra just in case you don't. Oh, and of course, homemade biscuits.
Homemade biscuits.
Well, because I'm making them at home, right? Salt, pepper, flour, and milk.
Tell me about the pot though, or pan.
I've had this for many years. I don't know what it is about it, but I have taken this 3.5 hours away
Okay.
to make sausage gravy for my baby boy.
Yes.
Do
Okay.
you remember when I was pregnant with Benjamin? I was pregnant with Benjamin, and I had you come over to make a double batch so that we could freeze it.
Oh yes.
But
that I could have it.
but why did you want it like that? Because remember when we were married, you were like, sausage gravy, ew.
Oh, that's because you're
Because I
born.
never really had it.
You're born in Florida, right?
Yeah.
That's not your fault, honey. It's okay. We still love you anyway. But don't make it with anything except regular flour, because those good healthy flours, it just doesn't turn out.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't
we
turn
did
out
try
right.
it with almond flour.
Yeah, it didn't work
That
out.
didn't work out. All right.
We love you even though you didn't know about the sausage gravy.
Did you make this in a Tefal pan?
Can I show you a pan not to use?
Yes.
Just a non-stick pan that's
Okay.
almost not. See how thin that is? That just,
It's heavier than this
it
one.
doesn't even sound like good cooking. If
Okay,
you
so
want-
this is not a cast iron skillet. This is aluminum, so you don't have to have cast iron, but this is thicker. All right, so why don't you use like a frying pan to make it?
Well, how you gonna have room for the big stirring of all the gravy and the milk and the
Okay,
flour?
so you have to make it in a pot, you're saying.
That's what I've always done.
The oven is preheated.
Oh, is it ready
We'll
now?
put some biscuits in.
Okay, yeah, we got.
Do we need to butter it?
Tell everybody I made these homemade, because I'm cooking them.
Okay, everybody,
Home
she
cooked.
made these homemade. The, what do we got here? Glass dish?
There's no butter in the pan. Gotta put the butter in the pan and melt it first.
Oh, your butter.
Probably
oh.
about a half a stick.
In the pan?
Buttermilk. Not get real hot, just melt.
Okay. All right.
They will be sitting in the butter when they're cooking.
Okay.
Oh, that's so good.
I knew there were things I just didn't know.
Anybody from the South that don't use a lot of butter either has bad diabetes or a bad heart. Oh, wait.
You have both of those.
Some
Okay.
of us still do.
But what I do know is the correct technique for opening a biscuit can.
I don't. I
You
do
pull it
I do
until your mom gets scared. Oh.
I stick a butter knife on it. I don't hit it or pop it. They're evil. Oh, you gotta hit it real hard right there on the. Oh, it didn't do it with you. It scared
it.
you. It's scared of you.
No, you gotta show confidence.
Well, I do. I
gotta
take
be
that
certain.
butter knife and I hold it down and pop it.
Oh, okay.
I show confidence.
All right. So
I may have melted a little bit too much. You just want to smooth it around.
is that gonna be too much in the pan? In that pan, that's not enough?
Well, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should hold 8 biscuits. Yeah, these will just be tall. They'll be tall, big boys. And I think these are like 10 minutes, 12.
When you put a stick of butter in there?
A stick of butter, if I hope that's enough. Is that enough, you think?
You think that'll be enough? Before the sausage?
If my mom, oh yeah.
Wait, you put the butter in before the sausage?
Yeah, always, yeah.
Oh.
Yes. And I would ask my mama, but it's been so long since she died, I can't ask her. And I'm not sure if I remember correct, but I've always done it this way as long as I can remember.
Okay, so you just stir
You gotta melt that butter.
Okay.
7's probably a good number to start if you like to do it slower, and I will turn it down when the sausage gets going better.
Okay.
But yeah, I buttered with the butter in the pan.
Well, tell me about that. Is that some pre-cooked Jimmy Dean sausage links, Mom? Is that what that is?
This is raw dog right from the sausage factory. Mild, no sage. I know you folks like a lot of sage out there. Not this girl. I never raised my family on sage. If I want sage.
So you don't just dump the thing in there?
No, you gotta crumble it. It's gotta be crumbled.
Okay.
If you dump it in there, you might just get one big blob of a sausage patty. You gotta crumble it. Can you turn that down to 7, please, for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Just for a minute, I don't wanna lose control. Sometimes I use a fork to keep the pieces from, clumping up into big blobs so it stays crumbled in the cooking.
Okay.
Could you get me a fork, please, Drew?
Yes, ma'am.
And then, because I will be smashing around on this. I hear there's little things out there you can buy now that you can do the smashy up and down thing. Oh, I gotta get.
So good.
Can you put that in your things? Or send me a where you get that?
Already.
The link's down below in the description, people.
Thank you. That's what I said. That's what I couldn't think to say. Can you put the link down here so I can get one? Because I've always used a fork or things like this, and see how that just creates a little issue there. I have friends, somebody asked me the other day, what are grits? And then I realized she's a good friend in Australia. I don't know what they have over there, so I tried to explain it. She got it. Maybe they have it and they call it something else. And I know there's salt and pork, folks. I know this, but when you add the flour and the milk, it takes it away. I may have to add a little bit more. I don't like to do too much when I'm cooking because people can season to taste. And this is fresh ground pepper. I grind it in the little thingy and then I put it in the little container. I don't buy that other white can of stuff. I don't believe you can have too much black pepper. Years ago I had an uncle that quit using black pepper in his food. Uncle Wendell, I think it was.
Okay.
One of Mama's brothers quit using black pepper because it helped his arthritis. Now, the story might not be exactly how it went, but he swore it helped him a lot. And I can believe that. We have arthritis problems in our family. That butter in there, that's so that you'll have a place to put the flour and it can start making the gravy. You don't want it too low because then it won't cook right. Sprinkle slowly in the middle of that stuff. Keep it stirred up. And don't put the sausage in it till this is starting to get right, because then you'll have too much flour and it'll be bland and boring. And might as well be cooking fish sticks as this if you're gonna have bland and boring food. Can you smell it? Does it smell? Starting to smell good. Can y'all smell that? Scratch and sniff video. One of these days I'll have that. You watch. See how it's getting really nice and thick there? But I don't want to sometimes I overdo it with the flour. Now I'm starting to mix in a little bit of the sausage because there is some butter product left in that. And you can see a little bit of butter left on there. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you how much flour I put in there because that's just not the way I do it. Always add little bits at a time, that way you can add more or less as you need to go. Now I'm going to put the rest of the sausage mixed in with it. It's starting to smell that. See if it smells like right? Smelling right?
It smells great.
Okay, great. I need the milk, please.
Yes, ma'am. You can pour it?
Pour. Go ahead. Whoops, sorry, I'm splashing. Okay, stop for a second. Let that cook up. Ready for some more. It's starting to get done more. Okay, let me have a stir time. A little bit more. This is where you start adding it faster as you go. Okay, let's try this now. Let that simmer for a minute. Okay. That's the good thing about this. Okay, if you get too much and you have to add too much milk, just add some more black pepper to it. Did you ever remember having sausage gravy where maybe you had a little bit too much pepper?
No, ma'am. I always like more.
Okay, I was gonna say, because if you did, that's because I messed up and put too much flour in it. In the milk, and that kind of disguises it.
No, I have no complaints.
Okay, let's have a little bit more milk slowly, not a whole lot. Because as it goes like this, okay, it takes a little bit longer to cook down because of course the milk's cooling it as it goes. And then it has to heat back up again. Brigitte, when you want to make this on your own, I guarantee you, he right here can taste test as you go. And I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind they will be perfect because I haven't seen anything you tried that you couldn't do yet or accomplish. And that's, I'm not just praising you out of the blue for nothing. That's just the way I really feel about it.
Oh,
I believe that you,
it still won't be as good as yours.
well, I think that's probably against the rules if it's better than the Nanas or the Mommies. Just tell me what it needs, or if it needs, or it's gonna need more milk if I keep cooking it.
More milk? Yeah.
It's not too bland yet, is it?
No, I'd add a little more salt and a bunch more pepper.
Okay, go ahead.
That's me.
That's what I do near the end?
Yeah,
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to take it
I
off?
need the salt shaker second. We're gonna add a little bit more salt, but it's with the rice in the shaker. Oh, by the way, how many people around the country put rice in their salt shakers?
Maybe you guys can tell us down in the comments below, let us know.
Yeah, I'd like to know because I don't, I know why we do it, but I didn't know if it's just a southern thing because of all the stupid humidity we have here and that high dew point normally. And like I said, there's a difference in fresh ground pepper and that stuff you buy in that white can or whatever that stuff is. This has actually flavor. So.
Not opinionated about it at all.
I know it's a fact. And I will set this aside. This burner still has a heat from the oven, so it won't get cold. That's hot there.
There it is.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. We're not going to use this spoon
just
again.
different.
So I can-
I'm hungry.
Go ahead and tell.
Say that again.
Wait.
More pepper. Look at that. But the essence of the sausage gravy from home.
I'm so hungry. Done yet?
Oh,
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I used to be good at multitasking, not
Good. Hey,
anymore.
that's pretty good.
Now I want to just flip them real quickly for another minute. And I do this only because some people don't like side. Oh, see, they're brown on the bottom. I might not have to.
No, they're good, I think.
I'll just flip them and leave them out of the oven. I think, you think that inside's good, done enough for y'all?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And this just makes the butter soak down. This has nothing to do with cooking them right. It's making them taste better because the butter goes down through there. And like I said, anybody that don't like butter, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all ready to eat yet? And, oh, I didn't butter the biscuit first. Do you think there's enough butter?
It's fine.
Well, some people want more, you know. And if you don't cover that biscuit, you ain't fixed it right. Tell me how much more pepper you need, because I know you're gonna need it.
Can't even see the biscuits under here, which is the way it should be.
Exactly. If you can see biscuits, you haven't done it right. It's hot, very hot.
Oh, I can see it. Steam. You hear it? See it?
Here we go.
That's really good. I'm just making all of it now.
That is how to make my mom's sausage gravy and biscuits. Where'd you learn it from?
Mama?
And where'd she learn it from?
Grandma?
Where'd she learn it from?
I don't know.
Okay,
Because I
it's
didn't
old.
get to meet her, Mama.
And North Carolinian.
Until we meet again, don't forget, life is better together.
Good job, Mom.
Yay!
You still eating?
You know, when I was growing up, what I
It's
wanted.
your plate. 1 Vitamix, 3 recipes, dinner and dessert, and a topping for 4 people. In this video, we're gonna show you 3 of our top favorite Vitamix recipes, and you can modify these to be kind of however you want them to be, but we're gonna walk you through making a broccoli and cheddar bisque, a soup that's very creamy, very rich, but super flavorful, yummy, easy to make. We're also gonna show you how to make one of our favorite desserts. It's a mango and strawberry sorbet. takes like no time in the Vitamix, and then more literally, basically no time at all. We're gonna show you how to make a low sugar whipped cream. You can make it keto any way you want to, and it's a great topping for the dessert. For the soup, the ingredients are pretty simple, but you can jazz it up however you like for flavor. We're gonna start with just a heaping pile of steamed broccoli. You can use fresh broccoli for this, but I'd recommend using steamed. Trick here though, buy frozen and steam it because they actually pick it fresher and flash freeze it, as opposed to with the fresh veggies like the broccoli, they'll pick it fresh, but then it's been on a truck for weeks before it gets to you. Frozen actually maintains a little more quality. We've also got cheese. We're just gonna use cheddar. We might throw a little Parmesan in there, but you can use whatever cheeses you want. Cheddar's good because it tends to have a little bit of a mildness to it that blends well with a creamy soup, but hey, flavor it however you want to. You're gonna wanna have at least a quart or so of stock. You can use plain water. I definitely recommend using a stock or a broth for this. We're actually gonna use this Better Than Bouillon chicken bouillon stock stuff. It's like a concentrated base. We take a spoon of it, put it into some water, dilute it. It makes a really flavorful broth. We're gonna use that, dilute it into about a quart of water. You're also gonna wanna use butter. We're gonna use about a half a stick that we're gonna mix into our cream. You can use however much you want. It really just depends on how creamy and rich you like your soup to be. I like it pretty creamy. Again, we're looking for kind of like a bisque, so we're gonna use at least a pint of this and then adjust it for color and texture of the soup as it's blending. Also, flavor your soup, people. Do not have unflavored soup. So, salt, pepper to taste. We're also gonna use fresh garlic. It gives it a little bit of kick, so be careful with how much you use. Our kids may not eat it if it's too much. I might use 3 or 4 cloves, but we probably will start with 1 or 2 and see how that goes. Again, it's all about your preference to taste, but what we're doing here is using simple ingredients with a simple process with very little time to make something with excellent texture and really good flavor. Cut your garlic up as much as you want to. One of the cool things about the Vitamix is you don't actually have to chop your garlic. It's gonna do it for you. Pour in your water. Toss in your broccoli. You want to steam these, you don't want to boil them to death because the Vitamix is going to do plenty to puree and make them consistent. I'm just going to guess at about a pint or so of cream. I'm going to put in a couple generous pinches of salt there. I'm going to grind in a whole mess of fresh black pepper. I'm going to throw in a couple moderate sized globs of this base, which again, probably this is equal to a good thick stock in the end, and it adds another dimension of flavor to your soup. And then toss in these garlic cloves. You'll notice I haven't put the cheese in yet. I'm actually gonna wait until it's blending and I'm gonna sprinkle it in because I don't wanna gum up the works. I actually wanted to get evenly distributed as it's blending up the soup, but you wanna do it before it gets too hot so that it's not melting too quickly when it goes in. I'm also gonna wait till the blender is started before I start putting in the butter, just so I can make sure it gets evenly distributed. That's so crazy. Already made a great soup, and now we're just gonna blend it further and cook it. Isn't that awesome? There we go. Yeah, getting gummed up with the cheese there. Okay, ready? And then straight up, just let it do its thing for like 5 to 10 minutes. Watch it. Check for steam coming out. It makes soup. Yeah, a lot. Get them really close to steam. And when it's time to cut it off, slowly dial it down. And then cut it and check this out. Look from the top, ready?
Oh, I see the steam.
I wasn't lying, and I gotta tell you, I said 5 to 10 minutes. Forget that, don't do 10 minutes. This was 5 minutes exactly. Bro, that is so good. We haven't made this forever. It's so good, right? You wanna taste it, baby? Here. Here.
I want to taste it when it's dinner time.
Yeah, is that good? Is that yummy?
I want it's dinner time.
You taste it, come here.
It's there now.
Come here. Is that good? You get a bit more here.
Want some cheese on it?
A little more, a little more.
Sour cream?
You like it? Brielle, you wanna try it?
A little bit.
Is that good?
Yeah, let's make a bowl.
Yeah, is that your favorite way to eat broccoli ever?
That's what
Yeah, we're gonna have cheese on it.
Like.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of cheese, huh? And garlic. Good? Is that a lot? Yeah. Okay. Excuse me.
Mine. Mine.
Yep, Brielle's.
Mine. Good.
Yeah, yours.
Yeah.
Yummy. Mine.
Yep, Brielle's.
Wait, salt and pepper?
Yep, salt's already in there, trust me.
Oh, pepper.
Yeah? No? Yeah?
Pepper. Yeah.
Okay. Good?
Good. This side?
Good? Okay.
Good.
We just finished dinner. It was so good. Highly recommend getting like a thick piece of toast and making garlic toast to dip into it. Awesome. But we're gonna make dessert and we're gonna make our topping, the whipped cream, before we actually make the sorbet itself. Because the whipped cream we can put into a bowl, put it in the fridge, it'll keep, it's fine. The sorbet, you just wanna eat it right away. It's so good as soon as you make it. But I'm gonna explain it a little bit before I actually make it because it goes so fast, I don't have time to explain it while I'm making it. Not all of it at least. Because one of the things you wanna do is make sure that everything's super cold. So we actually put the whole Vitamix craft into the freezer and it's chilling a little bit along with the cream. We put the cream in the freezer to get super cold just before we make it. The more cold, the better. Also, we said we were gonna make a low sugar version of this and we are. I wish we had powdered erythritol, we don't, but we have powdered sugar. But I'm gonna use way less than you normally would making whipped cream. Now, if you're using a mixing bowl and like beaters to make this, that would be a problem because it wouldn't bind as well. The Vitamix, it'll do just fine with only a few tablespoons of powdered sugar. Ready? Let's go. I'm gonna mark where 16 ounces is on this and just pour it in till I reach that amount. With the Vitamix, I find that you really wanna do at least a pint so that you can make sure it'll blend well enough. So there's about a pint of cream, just a little dash extra for good measure. I'm gonna go ahead and put in 1, 2, just flat tablespoons of powdered sugar into that pint. I'm gonna do this in real time. We're not gonna cut this while it's blending so you can see how dumb, easy, ridiculously simple it is to make this and how fast it happens. Okay, ready? Okay, start turning it up. Turn it all the way. Watch it as it's blending. And it's set. I turn it down. It's done. That's literally it. I don't know if that was even 30 seconds, and we're gonna have to watch the video to find out. You gonna try it, wife? You gonna try it? You gonna try it, baby?
Wanna try it?
Here. Yummy.
Okay. Yummy. Whipped cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Is that yummy? Okay. Now time to make the sorbet. To make that, you need literally just 3 ingredients. So you're going to have frozen mangoes. You're going to want frozen strawberries. You can use fresh as well. That's fine. Just gives you a little different consistency. And cream. This is another one of those that's really simple, but you need one other thing, and it's the tamper. This is one of those unique things to the Vitamix. It helps you just push stuff back down into the blender because you're using a lot of solid chunks Other blenders would have a really hard time with you pushing stuff down into the spinning blades. This thing doesn't even hiccup when you do it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. We recommend about 2 parts mango or peach to 1 part strawberry. So put about that much mango in there. You could cut these strawberries up. Again, it's a Vitamix. It can totally handle it. You're going to get some chunks if you do it the way we do it. And we kind of like that. We like the more heterogeneous texture of it. So put about that many strawberries into it. And then douse it with a heavy dose of cream, but not so much that it seems like you're going to get liquidy. Go ahead and pop your top on it. Pull off your cap so that you're able to handle it. Go ahead and pop this in so you're able to keep down any bits that want to fly out. Turn it on. Let it go for a little bit. Turn it up. And start working it down again against the sides and the corners. Turn it up. More cream on this one. Put in more cream. Turn it back up. Well done, Brielle. And that's it. Look at that. It's so thick, it really is much more like a sorbet or an ice cream than anything else. It's delicious. You don't have to add anything to that. That's so good. Let's scoop it out.
Let me try.
You try? Here, come here.
I'm gonna try.
Benjamin, try.